Okay, so to review for the final, we're going to go through it kind of chapter by chapter and try to provide you a little bit of direction as far as what to study and review the topics really quickly. If you find that there's something particular that you need more work on, then that would be the time to go back to your notes or go back into Connect Math with the homework and try to work on some problems. All right, so in chapter 1, we did this the first week of class. We did some basic definitions for the course. All right, you will have these on your final where you have to identify examples to go with each definition. All right, so remember that you have what we started with was the two types of statistics, so descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. All right, so for descriptive, you want to remember that these are facts. All right, and for inferential statistics, you want to remember that this is when someone is making a prediction, right, or drawing a conclusion. Now, there's more to the definition than that, but that's the easiest way to remember it, facts versus prediction. So, for example, on a descriptive statistic, to say that there are 5 girls in our class, that's a fact. An inferential statistic might be to say that a certain medication has a 30% chance of helping your condition. All right, that's a prediction being made. All right, next we moved on and we talked about variables. We looked at qualitative and quantitative. So you would be able to want to be able to identify an example for each of these. All right, so qualitative variables are not numbers. This would be something like eye color or what's your favorite subject, all right, those kinds of questions. Quantitative variables are numerical. So these are going to be your numbers. This would be like your height or your weight or your age. All right, remember that we took the quantitative variables. Those are the ones that are the numbers, and we said that we could classify them further. All right, so those can be classified as either discrete or continuous. Discrete are things you can count. Like how many people are in your household, or how many classes are you taking this semester. Continuous variables are those that are measured, like what is your weight? You have to step on a scale to measure that. Or how long does it take you to drive to campus? You have to use a clock or a stopwatch to measure that. All right, we also looked at sampling techniques in this first chapter. All right, we talked about 4 sampling techniques. You would want to be able to identify examples for each of the 4. So remember that a random sample means that every person in your big group is given a number. All right, if I were doing this in the classroom with you, I would have asked the entire class to number off so that everyone had a number. And then a computer or a calculator generates the random number. So this is the key part. You've got everybody numbered off, and then a computer selects the numbers that form this sample. That keeps any bias from coming in on my part. All right, we have a systematic sample, which starts off the same way. Every person is given a number, and then this is the one where you're choosing multiples to be a part of the sample. So you might choose every 3rd person in the list, or every 5th person, or every 100th person. There's some multiple being used, and those samples typically stand out fairly easily because of that multiple, 3rd, 5th, 100th, whatever the case may be. All right, stratified sample. You're going to divide your population into groups according to some characteristic. All right, so you can see in this picture that we've got our big group divided into 2 smaller groups. So we've got this group and we've got this group. All right, and then we're going to pick the same number from each group. So I might say, okay, I'm going to choose 3 from this group, and then I would choose 3 from this group. And that makes a stratified sample. All right, and then we have a cluster sample, which works kind of the same way in the beginning. We still divide our population into groups according to some characteristics. So this picture looks like we've grouped them according to shirt color. So we have all the people with orange shirts here. That's a group. All the people with green shirts here. That's a group. Purple shirts, red shirts, and blue shirts. And so we have 5 groups of people. And now we're going to choose 2 or more whole groups and sample everybody in those groups. So for example, I might pick all of these and all of these. All right, and so a cluster sample means that you are selecting whole groups. So on your final, you're going to have examples for all of the sampling techniques, and you'll be matching them up to the type. You'll have examples for qualitative and quantitative. You'll have examples for discrete and continuous. You'll have examples for descriptive and inferential. You will not have to state a definition, but you will have to be able to recognize an example of each of those terms.